My name is Laura Cavazos, and I am one of the lead auditors in the desk review section for Financial Compliance Division. And joining me is Iris Chen, who's another auditor within our desk reviews team within Financial Compliance. And this first session is primarily going to be an overview of the Audit 2.0 application. So we will go over the new layout and how to navigate the system, as well as roles, and then provide an overview of all 5 steps for completing your AFR submission. Then following this first training session, we will have 2 breakout sessions in the afternoon. The first one will be at 1 p.m. covering ISD data schedules, and the second one will be charter school schedules. All right. The quick overview of the timeline: the system was released into production on January 29th. And this is full access for AFR submissions. So we ultimately will have the system have full capability to accept your depository contracts, your district campus improvement plans, as well as investment training exception affidavits at a later date. We anticipate that to be sometime in March. But as of right now, the system is functioning and available for your AFR submissions. And again, to reiterate, the new due date for the fiscal year 2025 AFRs is going to be February 27th, 2026. This is also the same deadline for Charter First and School First. All right, so I'm going to kick it off to Iris, who will go over access and well as step 1 of the AFR submission.
Hi, everyone. So we are going to go through the access process first. So first of all, you will need to have an active TO account in order to get the application in this Audit 2.0. So if you do not have if you do not have the TO account, then you will need to apply for one. And this is the place that you can apply for your TO account. I think most of the people here that already have the TO account, so we will not go into detail here. And if you need help, here is the place that you can find help to get your TO account. And here is the Audit 2.0 application. You will need to do the application by click this My Application Account. And then you click Request New Account. Then there will be a screen showed up here, and you will need to select Audit 2.0. If you already have Audit 2.0, then you will not see this selection. And this is one of the example for the ISD role. So here that you will need to put in your organization and then select the district number. And this is another example for CPA personnel role. And here that you will need to select your CPA firm and then select the school district that you are going to access. And remember to click Save Changes. This is the place that your submission is actually sent out. If without click this Save Changes, then you will not be able to make your request go through. And then if you already have access and then you want to modify your access, you need to go to this screen and then click the link here, Add Modify Access. And here is the place that you can see what you have requested. So when you click this link, and then you will see this detail. It will show when did you submit this. And then you can also see the approvers. So here is the approvers. And then you will know that who's still pending on your request. Then you can contact those people. And this is a list of the roles that for the external user. So we have external AFR users, ISD roles, and charter school roles, governmental charter AFR users, and then also other roles, including the depository contract users. And the depository contract page is not ready yet. So it will be implemented in the coming months. And CPA personnel role. This role is very different from other roles. So this role that cannot finalize and cannot certified for the AFR submission. And we do receive some questions from the CPAs about these. So just to talk about this again, that the CPA role that cannot finalize and certify the AFR submission. And so the CPA need to talk to the school district or charter school users and then have them finish this submission. So there are a few things that to remember. It is recommended to use Chrome for Audit 2.0, and you can only use one tab at a time. Otherwise, the system will tell you that multiple application tabs not supported. And then all the schedules has the auto save function. But then for the step 1, you will need to click the save button. There is no auto save function for the step 1. And there will be a session timeout reminder.
Oh, sorry, Iris, I think you may have muted there. All other participants, if you can, please mute your microphones.
Okay. So you can hear me now, right?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And so here that this is the home page. So every different user role will see different home pages. For the IS user role, that you will see the home page with these 4 buttons in your home page. And the other 3 buttons is not fully functioned yet. So right now that there's only the AFR button is fully functioned. And on this homepage that you can verify your user ID and then also your role. And on the other hand, that also we already talked about this. These 3 button is not fully functioned yet. And then also on the top that you can see a place for you to select the school district. And if you are an ISD user, you should usually have one school district, so you don't need to select anything here because it's default for your own school district. But if you are a CPA role user, then you can select the school district here. And then also the fiscal year that you are working on. And this help link can take you to the user help page. So in the user help page that you will be able to navigate all the information, and then you will be able to see different section and then get some help here. It's all category by ISD, governmental charter, ESC, and charter schools. And then here that you can use the sidebar to navigate to the place that you want to go. And this upload AFR letter response, that this button is only for you to submit your response to the AFR letter that we will issue later. So there are 5-step process here. The first step is start here, preliminary info. So we want to collect some preliminary info here. And the second is AFR upload. The third is data feed upload, manual data entry. So you can upload your schedule, or you can manual enter the data in the schedules. And then when you finish 1, 2, 3 step, then only the ISD user or the charter school user that can actually do the step 4 and step 5. So the CPA user will not be able to do this part. And all 5 steps must be completed in order. And then each step status is shown both by the color outline and the descriptive labels. So you can see that it's either completed or in progress or locked. And after you finish the step, that you can see your submission through the view district status here. Use this view district status button to see your document, and then additional details are provided in the later sections. So this is a place that you can navigate to the place you want to go to. And then once you finish the step 4, finalize data, then you will see the reopen process button show up. And this is the button for you to reopen every steps. Once you reopen every steps, then you will need to go through every step to submit the whole thing again. So we are going to go through the first step first. So remember that once you click the step 1, and then you will also need to click Edit Step 1 button. So now that you go to the step 1 here, there are a few questions that we want to collect. So once you are done with all the questions, answer all the questions, then you can click Continue to Step 2 AFR Upload. These are the questions. We will go through that in more detail. And if you did not answer all the questions, then there will be an error message showing up and asking you to finish it. So you can see that here, there are 3 buttons down below. There is a cancel button, there's a save button, and there's a continue to step 2 button. So you will need to click the save button in order to save the data. So the data is not auto-saved here. The first question is fiscal year end for AFR being submitted. So there are 2 choices for you to pick. June 30 or August 31st. And for the first year implementation, that what whatever the date that you selected here will also update the date that in the header. So you can see that if you select August 31st, then in the header, you will see August 31st as well. But in a future year that we will have different design for this part. So there are different process for the future year that the J110 and J114 will be pre-populated in the system for the later time. And then for the later years. And this year that we also have the J110 and J114 populated first. And we are still in a progress to change some of the scenario here. So the J110 and J114 that will be pre-populated in the system. And then in the meantime that the school district select the date here will be compared to our system. So this process is still ongoing, some change. So we will update to the user for the change that in the later years. So this process will be changed very possibly. So we'll just skip this part. And then the second question is about the audit firm. So you will need to fill out all the information in the audit firm here. So if you don't know all the information about your audit firm, that you can go to the website. This is the Texas State Board of Public Accountancy website, and you can find all the information about your CPA firm. This is an example for you to see. And then you can see the license ID here. And then in the meantime, it's a good place for you to see if your CPA firm's license is current. And the second question is about single audit. So you will answer yes or no for your single audit question. And then here that if you answered yes, then your schedule K1 will show in the step 3. And then also the schedule K2 and K3 will display in the bottom. And the top section of the schedule K2 and K3 will always display. It doesn't matter if you have a single audit or not. And this is the schedule of expenditure of federal awards. This is the K1. So when no is selected, the K1 will not display in step 3. The federal section of the schedule K2 and K3 will not display in step 3 as well. So federal section of the schedule K3 will not appear. Federal section of the schedule K3 is like this. And as we all know that the single audit limitation is going to increase to 1 million. And this is the independent audit report for the single audit. And for this year that because single audit, some of the school district have the single audit done a little later. And you might have 2 different certificate of board. So then in that case that you can upload the different certification of board in the step two in two different files. So we will cover that a little later. And the other question is about the management letter. So this question, if you answer yes to this question, the auditor issue a management letter that included comments. Then M1 in a step 3 will show up. And what is a management letter? That's a formal communication issued by an independent auditor to an organization's management at the conclusion of a financial audit. So if you see that management letter, then you will need to click yes here. And then also you will need to fill up the management letter, the M1 schedule in a step 3. So this is an example of the management letter. And then that's the example of the management letter that showing the management letter comment. So in this case, that you will need to put in this paragraph into the M1 schedule. And if you see some kind of comment like this is more general. So if this is not considered to be a management letter comment, then you do not need to put those comments in the M1 schedule. So then I will give to Laura to continue with the step 3.
Okay, great. I can go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay, and we will continue to speak with the slides, but then as soon as I go over the AFR submission process, I will demo this as well for everyone. So we'll be able to actually get into the application and complete the submission. So now we're on step 2 of the AFR upload. As you can see, step 1 has been marked as completed. So step 2 is now available and I can access that step. So one of the first things you will see is the AFR upload widget here on the center of your screen. This allows you to drag and drop those AFR PDF files, but will not be enabled until you actually select a file type. So we do have 4 options for the file types for the AFR uploads. One is the AFR for public view. This does allow external users to view the AFR on our public viewing website. Then we have the AFR with signatures. This is for internal TEA use only. A management letter if that is uploaded separately, as well as the L1 schedule for ISD users if that is also uploaded separately. Now, all schools at minimum are required to upload an AFR PDF for public view. Once this file is uploaded, then and you move on to step 3, this step will be marked as complete. So if you've uploaded, say, your AFR with signatures, if you've uploaded management letter or schedule L1 and attempt to move on, the system will not allow you to move on to step 3 until the AFR for public view has been uploaded. Another thing to note is when you are uploading multiple versions, you will see a comment box. We do ask that you complete that file, complete the comment box with a brief explanation of the reasons for the revision, as well as indicate which page numbers were revised. So we have the upload widget on the center of your screen. Again, you can drag those files over or select browse to navigate to that file location to select the file. We do have a loading bar, so you can see in real time that file being uploaded. If it's not successful, you will see error message appear at the top of your screen in red text. So an example here is the file exceeding the file size. And this failure message will also be emailed to that email address for that teal user ID. So this is an example of a file upload being successful. You'll see a pop-up message indicating it was successful. You'll also see those uploaded files displayed below the file widget. And one thing I do want to note here is it will only display those uploaded files in your current session. So we are working on an enhancement for users to be able to see the list of file uploads that were in their current session as well as all previous sessions. So there's no confusion as to what files have already been uploaded. But as of right now, when you complete step 2, you will only see those files uploaded per that session. And again, you no longer need to name the file. The system will automatically name it depending on that file type selected. So once you select OK to that file upload was successful, you do have to select continue to step 3 to mark this step as complete and move on to step 3. So now here you see step 2 is marked as completed. Step 3 is now available for me to proceed. One of the first things you'll see is an upload widget here as well. For those of you completing a data feed file upload, you can drag and drop that file over into the upload widget, or you can select that file from the file location using your browse button. The system will automatically name the file similar to step 2 with that AFR PDF upload. And you will receive a pop-up message indicating whether or not that file upload was successful. You will also get that message emailed to the email address for that teal user ID if it failed or was successful. And then one thing that is different from our legacy system is you will need to review every schedule to compare that data to your annual financial report and make any changes as needed. So if you have completed a data feed file upload, you still need to review every schedule prior to finalizing. So when you select OK here, you will automatically be taken to those schedules for review. If you are not completing a data feed file upload, or you have completed a data feed file upload and maybe needed to end that session and return back to review those schedules, you can select this button here, the manual data entry and edit of the data feed. So in this case, if you have not completed a data feed file upload and you're completing these schedules manually, is one thing you will see is the new feature of prompts for certain schedules. And we will go over prompts during our breakout sessions for those ISD data schedules and the charter school data schedules. But for those users that have completed a data feed file upload, you will not see prompts on those schedules. So the same thing with the manual data entry. As you've completed each schedule and reviewed every schedule, they have passed all edit checks. Upon saying next to the last schedule, you will be prompted to finalize. And it is when you say yes to this prompt that step 3 will be marked as complete. Now, one thing I want to note too here is, as Iris said, that CPA personnel cannot finalize or certify the AFR submission on behalf of the schools. So if they select next to the last schedule, they actually will be taken back to the AFR homepage with step 3 remaining as in progress. So the authorized school personnel will need to review each schedule. And then once they select next to that last schedule, they will receive the prompt to finalize and move on to step 4. And so this is by design in order to have the school personnel review each schedule within step three in order to confirm and finalize on step four. Because step four is mainly a disclosure statement. So step four is saying that you have confirmed, you have verified the data in those schedules against your annual financial report for consistency and made any corrections as necessary. So one thing I want to note here is that this does lock your schedules for especially steps one, two, and three. So once you have confirmed that you want to finalize at the end of step three, steps one, two, and three will be locked. You will not be able to make any edits, and you will be taken to step four. Now, after you have finalized, there is an option to reopen your schedule if it is within the allotted time prior to the deadline for this fiscal year. And we'll go over that shortly. So after I've reviewed this disclosure and I have agreed that have confirmed that my data agrees with my AFR and I can select step four, I can select finalize and continue to step five. I must select this step in order to mark step four as complete and move on. So I'll see a pop-up window. I do want to confirm that detail of the appropriate school is listed. So addressing the correct fiscal year and date time agreed. And I would select yes. And I will then be taken to step five, certify. It is at this point, after step four, if it's within the allotted time, that I will have this reopen button here at the bottom left side of my screen available. And I can then reopen my submission if at any point at this step, I need to go back and make changes. Now, this button will be disabled if it is beyond our certain allotted time frame, which we will get into later in the presentation. Okay, so step five, certify. This is laid out as a checklist. So here I'm certifying that I've reviewed my annual financial report that has been submitted for completeness and accuracy. And so by marking the following checkboxes, I'm certifying that each of these statements is true. And all statements with checkboxes must contain a selection. So here I am certifying that yes, I've provided a complete certificate of board and signed and dated independent auditor reports, and then schedules if a single audit is required. So that is the schedule of findings and question costs, a schedule of expenditures and federal awards, and a summary schedule of prior audit findings if those are applicable. If any of these are not applicable, then I can simply select NA. Management letter as well, if that was provided. If not, I would select NA. A schedule L1 if that was provided. This is primarily applies to ISD users. Charter users, you would simply select NA. AFR PDF submitted in step two is consistent with the information entered in step one and the data schedules in step three. I would select yes. And then the email addresses for the superintendent, CFO, board president are current in Ask TED. For those of you that may not be familiar, Ask TED is the TEA directory that provides the contact information for all of these positions. This is what we use to obtain that contact information in order to correspond to schools. So we do ask that that information is current. And then I did provide some slides here that sort of break down each of those statements in case this screenshot was difficult to read. So you can see that if you revisit this presentation. So once I select certify, I will receive a prompt message indicating that certification is complete. Again, I do want to verify that my school is correctly listed, it is listing the correct fiscal year. And then I will also receive a certification message email to that email address for that Teal user ID. So when I select return to home, I then see all 5 steps are highlighted green and marked as locked for complete. And then I have my AFR submission complete indicated below. So, some other features that we want to go over have been added is our view district status page, which is a little similar to what you may have seen in our legacy system. So, here you can view the status of the submission anytime on this view district status screen. Now, we have laid out this to kind of mirror those AFR submission steps. So you'll see step one listed at the top as well as that status. One thing I want to note here is that you will be able to view and download each of those steps as once they are finalized. So here in step one, in this particular example with this screenshot, I can view the preliminary information. It'll just take me to step one, but I cannot download. And that's because step three has not been completed yet. So once I've actually completed step three and four and finalized, you will then see that download link become available. With the AFR PDF uploads, since they are PDFs, you will be able to just view those in a separate window or download those as PDFs. And then as we go into step three, depending on how you've completed this section, if you have a data feed file upload, you will be able to download those uploads as they were uploaded to the system. And then with the finalized schedules, you will not be able to actually view or download that data until you have actually finalized. Another addition is a schedule history. This link will be available once you've actually completed steps 4 and 5. And when you select view history, you'll be able to see a history of those schedules. One thing I want to note here is it says schedules, but really it is listing those schedules that have been updated. So if I've like reopened and finalized again, but didn't make any changes, I may see another line entry here below, but without any actual schedules listed here, if I didn't actually make any changes. And then the same thing with step 5, you'll be able to view that link and download that as a CSV file once that step has been completed. A new section that will be added at a later date is TEA's AFR submission review. So this now will allow you to kind of show progress of TEA's AFR review. You'll be able to view or download our AFR review letter, as well as view any uploaded district response files that have been provided to us. We've added a status so that you can see in real time where your school is at in our AFR review process. So the statuses include the AFR review in progress, or TEA is waiting for a response if we have requested a district response in our AFR review letter. TEA review of district response. So you have submitted your response and we are in the process of reviewing that. And then closed to indicate that no other information is required and that AFR review has been closed for that fiscal year. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but you have the ability to reopen the AFR submission without contacting TEA. Now we have typically we will allow you to reopen that AFR submission if it is within 30 days after that submission due date. This is a unique period. We have pushed the deadline for all schools for this fiscal year. So at this point, you may reopen that AFR submission through February 27th. So that is the final date. Okay, so now I can actually go in and demo the system here. And I'm going to go in as an AFR user, ISD user, excuse me. So here on my screen, you as an ISD user, you'll see an AFR button as well as access to the district campus improvement plans, investment training exception affidavits, and upload AFR letter responses. These will be available at a later date, as we mentioned earlier in the presentation. Right now, the AFR page is fully functioning and will accept those submissions. So we're going to work backwards here. I have this side panel menu that I can collapse to make my view a little bigger here. So I'm going to start backwards in that I've actually already completed the submission. So I want to reopen and go through this process all over again. So at the bottom left, I have my reopen, and this is going to unlock steps 1 through 5. And I did not lose any data in steps 1, 2, and 3. Step 4 and 5 will reset and I will have to complete those again. But here, if I click step 1 and continue with step 1, I will still see the data that I have previously entered with my submission. So again, the preliminary information tab is more of a data gathering step. I'm entering my fiscal year end, my audit firm information. The office location is city only, my audit firm contact email addresses, and you can consult with your independent auditor to get this information. And then, as Iris mentioned here, indicating whether or not a single audit was required will determine if I have a K1 schedule that I need to complete within step 3, and then also certain portions of my K2 schedule. If I issued a management letter, if I was issued a management letter indicating yes, will enable that M1 schedule. So I'm not going to make any changes here. I'm going to save this information, hit OK, and continue to step 2. And this will take me right into step 2. If I'm not able to complete this step at the moment, I can select back to steps, and you'll see step 1 has been saved and marked as completed. So step 2 here, I need to select my file type first. I select AFR for public view. I have already uploaded that. So if I am uploading a revised file, I need to indicate what pages have been uploaded or revised and indicate what page number. So let's just pretend I'm doing that. I'm going to select browse and select my file. And we can do, for example, if my file has exceeded, so if I have a larger file type, the system will kick that out, and it'll give me that error message. If I am trying to upload a file that is not in the correct format, if I'm uploading an Excel spreadsheet, it is not going to allow me to do that. I got to clear this error first. So this file must be a PDF file type. Okay, so going to upload my AFR PDF. Now I do see a loading widget, so I can see in real time what the system is doing. My file upload was successful, and you can see it is listed below with that naming convention applied. I'm going to select OK and continue to step 3. If I go back to steps, I can see my step 2 is now marked as complete with step 3 available to edit. For the sake of time, I am going to use a data view file upload to complete these schedules. Now I have already entered this data in these schedules. So if I'm uploading a new file, the system is going to prompt me to let me know that a new file upload will replace all the data in my schedules with contents of this file. And it's going to ask if I want to proceed. And I do. So we do recommend that if you make any changes that you're uploading complete files. Okay, so my file upload is successful. You can see that it's listed below here with that naming convention, and I can see what version was uploaded. So once I select OK, I will be taken to the schedules. So if I needed to go back to steps, if I'm just not able to review these schedules at this time after my upload, it has saved that data. So I can go back to steps and return at a later time. So right now I'm going to go to step 3, resume. And when I go into this manual data entry, edit of the data feed button is where I can then access those schedules and navigate through each one to make sure that it has passed all edit checks. There aren't any errors in this data. And we are aware that there is a little bit of a lag with this G1 schedule. Our developers are working on it. So now once I navigate to the end of the schedule as an ISD user, I will be prompted to finalize. Again, if I'm a CPA personnel role and reviewing these schedules, once I hit next, I'm actually going to be taken back to my AFR homepage. I'm not going to be prompted to finalize. As an ISD user or other school personnel with AFR access, you will have this prompt and you must select yes here in order to mark step 3 as complete. And as you can see, steps 1, 2, and 3 are now locked. If I wanted to reopen, I have to access step 4 and finalize. I'm taken to step 5, but if I go back to steps, that reopen process is now available. So step 5, certify. I want to continue. Again, this is a checklist. All statements must contain a response. So if I am just going to select yes to these first two and continue because maybe the rest just don't apply to me, I am going to run into an error. So I'm going to select yes. I included all of these schedules. I have a management letter and schedule 1. I have reviewed my AFR against steps 2 and step 3. My email addresses are current. I'm going to complete my submission, verifying that is for the correct school year. And I'm going to return home, and now my AFR submission is complete. Now we've had questions of, what if my supervisor wants to go in and review the submission after I've already completed, so they can go into the view district status and they will be able to then view the information in read-only status. So I can go back to steps, view district. I can view my AFR uploads that are going to open up in a separate tab on my browser. I can, and I apologize, this is the test environment, so I was working on testing our data feed uploads, but now I'm under finalized schedules. I can view those schedules in read only, so I'm not able to make any edits. And then I can view or download step 5, so I can actually see the responses. But okay, so that is the AFR submission process and reviewing the data. Are there any questions? If anyone wants to go off mute and ask at this time?
So Laura, there's a question related to the Ask Ted. So people is asking that how can they verify that their email address is in the Ask Ted? Can you
Oh,
share?
yes, great question. Okay, so Ask Ted is available on our website. The easiest way, right, would be going to TEA's website. At the very top, you will see a link at the top header there. Hope you guys can see that, to select Ask Ted, and that'll take you right to the Texas Education Directory. And then you could do a quick district lookup. So here, actually, quick district lookup will kind of give you a whole list, but the best way would be to search, select district, and then I'm going to enter a district number. So what I usually do is I'll go to personnel. I want to see the superintendent. I want to include other roles. And then here is where I can select, yes, the CFO, business manager, and then maybe even the board president and select search and is going to give me that information. So if I select all and view those details, that's where I can see if my email addresses are current. And ISDs, you do have the ability to update this information within STED. Charter schools, you have to go through a different route. You actually do have to email the charter authorizing division to get those changes updated within STED. But ISD users will be able to go into the directory and make those changes as needed. Good question. Any other questions?
There's
Okay,
been a
great.
number of people that have asked about the data feed file. Where do we get it from? Is it something that's online? Can you talk to that issue, please?
Sure. So we traditionally have not provided those data feed file templates. I am familiar with two vendors that do provide those services. And then I do believe that some CPA firms have also started to create their own software programs to create those files as well. We are working on our sort of data feed submission manual, which will kind of provide some more detail on those schedules and then the kind of data feed format. But it has to go through our accessibility checks, so it's just taking a little bit longer to get that posted to our website. But we are looking to get that posted hopefully by the end of this week. But yes, and then if you do, I have my email information here. If you want to email me or Iris, we can provide you with those vendor information. But yes, so we traditionally did not provide those templates to users. Their third-party services provided that.
There are a lot of questions in the chat. I thought you were going to address those.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I can go through. So and it'll give me a second here while I catch up with some of these questions. Okay, so if your AFR for public view has board signatures, will you need to upload an AFR with signatures separately? So that is a school's preference. Oh yeah, I know Iris has already kind of started to provide some answers. Okay, great. Yeah, so that is a personal preference for the school. At a minimum, they have to provide that AFR for public view. But if they want to include a separate file with those actual wet signatures that they only want for internal use only, like that is acceptable. And then you don't need to upload, if you're going to upload the same AFR PDF, you do not need to upload both file types. Just at a minimum is that AFR for public view. And that is what's going to tell the system that you have completed step 2. Oh, and thank you, Iris. You did upload an example template there for the data feed file.
There is people asking about the charter school data file that maybe we can share that later.
Yeah, I think I can post this text file. I think I probably put it here in this chat. For accessibility reasons, we just can't post these into our website. So they have to be in PDF and they have to have they have to meet specific accessibility requirements. So that is making it a little more difficult for us to get these available. But yes, I can do that. Okay, we went over Ask Ted, but speak out if I need to go over that again. How do you address an issue if the file size exceeded? So one option, and I haven't actually run into this issue, but one option you can do is optimize PDF. I've seen this before, and I don't recall exactly where we were able to do this. Iris, do you off chance remember?
The file size.
Right. So on the file size, oh
Um,
yes. So on the file, you save as other, optimize PDF will reduce that file size, and I can't let you know if it is going to help meet those requirements, but I know it'll definitely reduce it. So you can give that a try and just let us know if that does not work out. But I know we've had some success with having that optimized using that optimized PDF function. Um, yeah.
there's a question about can we delete the file uploaded?
So we cannot delete any uploads that have been submitted into the system. This is our formal system of record. So for in order to have that established audit trail, we cannot remove any uploads.
And Laura, can you explain that for the CPA role that once they finish the step 3, that they still see the step 3 showing in progress?
Correct. So I don't have a CPA role in my test environment at the moment, but um, as I explained with step, let me reopen it. Yeah, so if you're in that CPA role, if you are navigating to the very end of these schedules, and actually with the CPA role, if you've completed the data feed upload and you've received a successful upload message, it will take you to the first schedule, but you can just select back to steps to be taken back out if you're not necessarily required to review each schedule as a CPA personnel role. If you prefer to review to make sure that the data within your file is correctly uploaded and you don't have any edit check errors, then that is up to you. But as the CPA personnel role, after you've completed your data feed file upload, you will be taken to each schedule where you'll have to navigate. And then at this point, once you get to the last schedule, so for this particular school, the last schedule is M1. So if I were the CPA personnel role, if I selected next, I'm actually going to just be taken back to the AFR homepage. Now, as an ISD user, I'm selecting next, and I'm going to be asked if I want to finalize. So if I say no, I'm going to stay here. But for a CPA personnel user, they are essentially taken back to the AFR, and this step will still be shown as in progress. So we still require the school personnel to review each schedule, select next on that final schedule, select yes that they want to finalize in order for step 3 to be marked as complete.
I have a question here.
Yes.
So why are we juggling between AFR, ACFR, CAFR? What actually do we call this report that we run for school district at the end of the year?
So TEA, specifically the Financial Compliance Division, we refer to this as an AFR for Annual Financial and Compliance Report. I know that schools can prepare an ACFR. It was formerly called a CAFR, but I think that the language has now been updated to refer to it as an ACFR, and that is up to the schools. That is a specific type of report. And I think Iris, you could probably provide a little more information on that than me. But as far as the submission here with us, we refer to it as an AFR.
So I think there are more information that is required in the CFAR. So then but TA does not require those additional information like a statistics information, those things. So that's why that we refer to AFR, which is the less information in the requirement.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Great questions. Okay.
There's a question related to how will our group know that those multiple submission, like what kind of difference within those multiple submissions? So then I just want to emphasize that it will be very important for you to fill the notes in the comment box when you submit the files in a step 2. So then because all the uploads that cannot be deleted. So then if you have a comment there, then we know what's the difference in those different uploads.
Yes, and if you go to the view district status, you will be able to also see those comments that you've made in that last column there under AFR comments. So in my demonstration, I had uploaded another version and indicated Exhibit A1 was revised, page 10. So that comment is now available. And then you'll also see if you had those error message, those will also be displayed in that AFR comments column.
And there is a question about Schedule L1. It says Schedule L1 is in step 3. When would it be necessary to upload a PDF of it in step 2?
So Schedule 1 has always been required to be included for ISDs within their AFR PDF, whether it is included in their actual AFR or just uploaded as a separate schedule. That has always been required for ISD users.
There's a question about can you show step 3 manual data entries quickly? And just choose about that, we will have a second section, the next section, to go to more detail about the manual data entries.
Yes, so because I've completed a data feed upload here, you're not going to see those prompt messages, but all other features, mainly the edit checks and how to kind of view errors, we will go into with more detail in our breakout sessions.
So Laura, can you talk about the time for the 2 different breakout sections?
Yes, and we do have those links available on our website. So if you go to our website and I'm going to navigate to our financial compliance area, electronic submissions, we have the Zoom links for all breakout sessions. So if I scroll down our live training webinars, we have the one from this morning, and then we have our next one will be at 1 p.m. And this is an overview of the ISD data schedules. So we will go over the new schedules that have been added for ISDs as well as new features and the focus will be on completing those schedules manually. There are presentations for both breakout sessions. So we have a PowerPoint for the ISD data schedules as well as the charter school schedules. If you're a government charter user, I highly recommend you, if you can only attend one, I highly recommend you attend the ISD data schedules more so than the charter school schedules. But we will have these sessions recorded and we'll post these to our website. We will not resend the link out for those Zoom meetings. So please, if you go to our electronic submissions website, you will be able to see the links.
Oh, there's a question that can we get the slides before the meeting?
We can put those in the chat. Iris, will you be able to do, I think I can do that with the charter schedules.
Okay.
You know, as we wanted to wait till after these trainings, as people ask questions, if there's anything that we can add or edit to these presentations, we want to be able to get that information in there in order to make it available for you. So that's why we are waiting until after today's training sessions before we get these posted to our website. Let's see. So we have someone asking, do we wait for step 3 after our auditor does their part? Yes, so you can, you know, as the auditor is completing those schedules, you can, you know, go in and view and make edits as needed. That is your preference. I now we haven't now that it is kind of clear, a little more clear for those CPA personnel what their role is and what they can and cannot do. They may reach out to you as soon as they've completed their data feed upload, or you can let them know that, hey, you know, let me know once that data feed upload is complete, and so that you can go in. So that's just something to communicate and work out with your CPA on how you want to review those steps.
And in addition to that, I think it depends on your agreement with your CPA. We do see some of the school district enter the data by themselves. So it really depends on your agreement.
As far as AskTed, if you're ISD users, that I would say if you can see the help page, because I do believe ISD users were provided with login information on how to update that. So if you can, please review the help page for information on how to update AskTed. There at least may be some contact information within there so that you can reach out to the AskTed administrators to get specific instructions on how to update it. So the best way would be to, within AskTed, is search and then district. So this will allow me to just enter that my own school's, you know, county district number, and then I can select personnel. I can view my superintendent, or I can view other roles. And if I scroll down, I have various other roles within STED. So if I just want to see FO, I'm going to select search. And now I can see the contact information. So I think someone asked, AFR public view is, we don't have specific naming conventions that we're asking you to use. At this time, the system will automatically name the file. So you can use whatever naming convention that you maintain for your AFR files. As soon as you upload it, the system will name it according to our naming convention that we've established. Okay, I know we're a little over on time. I am going to leave this contact information up here for a few more minutes. And then we will stay on for a few more minutes if you have any other questions. But if not, thank you for attending this training session. I hope to see some of you this afternoon at 1 p.m. for our overview of the ISD data schedules, as well as at 2:30 for our overview of the charter school schedules.
So I post a AskTed information screenshot in the chat, so just in case if you need it.
Yeah, I think I can put this in the chat here.